What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined with Ismael Perez. Man, Ismael is everything esoteric and beyond. Galactic Federation. This guy's a wealth of knowledge. I have my go-to guys regarding these subjects, and Brad Olson's one of them. David Wilcock, obviously. Kerry Cassidy's in that realm. Ismael, you're a fan favorite, so maybe you can help me understand more on what the hell's going on here from your perspective, your vantage point of the battlefield on this. Let's start with the drones, okay? Let's start with the drones. You said you had very, very, very good intel on what is going on with these drones, and it's a different type of perspective. I don't know if my audience, I have a very big Christian audience, but I know there's multiple psyops being run with these drones, and there's hundreds and thousands of drone operators in this country that have come up through the southern border. So I know that to be true. There's also UAPs. There's all kinds of things happening along with the drones. Could it be Project Bluebeam? Are they actual aliens? I think there's a lot of things, a lot of psyops being run here. First of all, Ismael, thank you very much for joining me.
It's a great honor and pleasure to be here, Nino. What if I say it's a little bit all of the above? It's a spiritual warfare. It's the final battle between good and evil. So what we're witnessing here is also the veil between the higher dimensions and the 3D realm is being thinned out. It's to the point where people are starting to see what has really always been there. So what's taking place right now is multiple things. First of all, it is an attempt by using ISIS, using their 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀 I want to call it, side organizations to bring in weapons of mass destruction. So on the side of the military-industrial complex, what we're seeing here, it's final attempt to hold on to power. Now, the reason they're trying to do this is because they're trying to offset the inauguration. They're really trying to execute what is called the executive branch, where they take absolute power, and there is no inauguration. However, at the same time, it's being counteracted upon by the Space Force and the White Military Alliance. So one of the things
and that is my understanding as well. So we're on the same page thus far, for sure.
Absolutely. So what's happening is that most of the drones that we've been witnessing in the last few weeks are actually operated by the good military. And the reason being is because they're actually equipped with a type of technology that is able to sense radiation and weapons of mass destructions that apparently were sneaked into our country in suitcases through the ports, mainly from the East Coast. So what's happening right now is that there is a clash going on between the state and, of course, also using their drones for a different reason. And that reason is because of the fact that the veil is lifting. We are now piercing into the fourth dimension, where all this extraterrestrial activity is taking place. So the military-industrial complex is using their drones to kind of scope out what these orbs are, these light plasma entities are, these unidentifying aerial phenomena. And that, my friend, is, of course, the positive ETs that is explained about in the Bible as the angels. And so what's happening here is that the Galactic Federation, Galactic Alliance, let's just call them the good guys, are actually stepping in because of the fact that right now we are dealing with a dire situation regarding a nuclear war. So a lot of these unidentifying aerial phenomena are actually being dispatched by the positive ET races that are associated with the Galactic Alliance, Galactic Federation, whatever you want to call it, the good guys. And they are being dispatched in order to neutralize our main nuclear weapon facilities. That's why you see them hovering over a lot of military bases.
I've seen videos of what looks like a UFO come and strike down a nuclear missile that was being launched or something like that. I think a lot of my audience has seen this video where there's a rocket taking off and the UFO comes and zaps it with a couple lasers, and then it just falls right back into the ocean or onto the ground, whatever it did. But I've seen that, and I've always been amazed and astonished by that video. The proof to me that someone's interacting with us and trying to stop us blowing each other up. So are you referring to that as well? Is that is how they kind of manipulate a situation or come in and stop us from destroying the whole planet?
So Yeah, so what that is actually the Galactic Federation fleets, and those are scouting ships. They're rather as they're about 8 to 15 feet length. They're not as big as some of their huge craft. So they do deploy what is called scouting ships in order to mitigate and neutralize any threat to humanity at this time. So things are very critical for the times that we're living in. So, and at the same time, we're also dealing with, believe it or not, autonomous drones. Now, so this is a three-part warfare. So we have the military-industrial complex sending their drones to sniff out Galactic Federation scouting ships, to sniff out or to at least try to analyze what these plasma orbs are. And those plasma orbs are not our own. What is our own is the drones. The drones are coming from both the positive military from Space Force, which, by the way, have most of their hidden militaries. Are you ready for this? In the ocean. Why do you think most of the drones are coming from the ocean? One of the things that I shared with my audience 2 weeks ago is that besides Cheyenne Mountain, about 75% of the 𝗦𝗏 military bases are inside the ocean. And the reason being is because most of the dumps or the underground, you could say the deep underground bases, have been occupied by the cabal for many, many years. So what the 𝗦𝗏 Military Alliance did is they actually build out their infrastructure in the ocean, and they have the technology to do so. They actually have a type of technology where it starts off in the ocean, and as soon as it hits the surface, it converts into what is called a anti-gravity aircraft. And a lot of this technology was actually given to the positive military groups by the Pleiadians.
So they're
Now,
non-human
your audience probably,
technology. Well, at least earthly human technology. This is not. This is reverse engineered or just
no,
given to us. I mean, were they
it
were
was
they
given to
reverse
us.
engineered from crash sites, or was it handed down to us? You were about to say the Palladians handed it down to us.
Yeah, Palladians handed down this technology to the positive military, to William Tompkins back in the early 1960s, in order to create the positive military. I mean, the positive space programs known as Solar Warden. So the technology was actually given to us. Now, the cabal reversed engineered some of this craft back in the 50s, as well as inheriting some of this craft from the Greys and the Draconians, which is what we're fighting in space, of course. So what we're seeing right now is, this is just going to increase. There's going to be, it's going to get to the point that as we go into 2025, we are going to be seeing swarms of UFOs, because it's just going to escalate, especially as
I've
the
said this is going to be the new norm. The drones are going to be
yes,
the new norm. The UAPs is going to be the new norm. It's only going to escalate from here, right?
exactly. And part of that reason, my friend, is because of the fact that the Galactic Federation or Alliance, those that are working with the White Hats, are not going to wait for the government to disclose, just to give, to do disclosure. They're going to actually start showing themselves, because they know that as a collective, we are ready to know that we are not alone in the universe. Now, since you do have a large Christian audience, I do want to add one thing. All the positive races out there, all the different benevolent civilizations out there, answer to the one God, the one infinite creator that made us in his image, also made all the different human races out in the universe. So all the positive races out there, they see Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
So,
I
so
want
it's a genetic blueprint across the universe.
exactly.
But what about these entities that are coming from interdimensional realms that are not human, like the Greys or things like that? Are those what we would call the demonic fallen?
Yeah, those are the fallen angels. Those are the celestials that rebelled against the one God. Because according to the galactic records and the esoteric knowledge that I was able to decipher, is that there is a Adamic blueprint, and those are the children of the one God. 5 fingers, a torso, a human face, 2 legs. However, the reptilian prototype, believe it or not, the reptilian draconian prototype, or those entities that we call the fallen ones, are the fallen angels, the followers of Lucifer, and they do comprise of 1/3 of the Celestials that decided to follow Lucifer um, in the path of technology. And as they did so, they disconnected from God. And that explains why, throughout all of history, the Draconians or the Reptilians have always depended on external technology, whereas the humans, the Pleiadians, the Lyrans, and the benevolent races out there, which, of course, in the Bible we call the angels, have never depended on external technology, but they've always used what is known as their light body or their Merkaba.
So let me get this straight. the ones that are infestating this planet right now, like termites, the reptilians, the grays, whatever, the ant people, whatever you want to call them, those are the fallen. Those are the ones that are against humanity. The Galactic Federation, I mean, this is kind of sounds like Star Wars to me, but I'm going to go for it. The ones that are helping humanity is considered the Galactic Federation. Those are called angels. I mean, I'm really, this is just unpacking more of the Bible correctly.
Exactly.
It's just a little more complex for the people that are more, I guess you have to be really open minded for this. But the battle is with the fallen and the Galactic Federation. Could we call it that? The fallen are the reptilians, the grays, versus humanity, which is ever expansive throughout the universe.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I actually revealed in our cosmic origin is that we're not unique to this planet. There's human beings everywhere, and we were all made in the image of the one God. So yes, that is what's happening right now. It is an interdimensional warfare, or as the Bible calls, spiritual warfare, that is now coming to an end.
Let me ask you this. Are the I know that the fallen come through interdimensionally, correct? They come through portals. Do the human beings, do the Galactic Federation also travel through portals from other dimensions, or do they get here through anti-gravity machines that are propulsion systems, other planets, or are they traveling interdimensionally as well? Are only the fallen interdimensional, or also the Galactic Federation? Are they also interdimensional?
Yes, both are very interdimensional. Yeah, beyond the fourth dimension, there is what is called portal technology, where they're able to go from one system, one planet to the next, even across the galaxy within 2 seconds. It turns out that every planet, every star system, every galaxy is connected to every other galaxy via portals. So every planet has a Stargate number. You know, Venus has a Stargate number, Earth has a Stargate number, Mars has its own Stargate number. And that's how the interdimensionals are able to travel at the speed of light just by opening a portal connecting one planet from one side of the galaxy to the other side of the galaxy without using spacecraft. Now, the difference between the fallen ones is that they use AI to open up portals. So we're also dealing with the AI factor here. See, the AI factor is not new to this world. It's not something that we are now coming to discover, that is developing at an accelerated rate. No, the AI factor has been a huge phenomena and technically a big issue within the multiverse, within the entire cosmos. So there are other civilizations that had already developed AI before our own, millions of years ago, where they ended up destroying themselves by developing what is known as the last invention. And so that AI, so there are different types of AIs that are alien AIs that are also that we are also at war with. And so, yeah, so basically the AI has been connecting with itself through time travel. So the AI that is being developed here by, say, Google and big tech is actually connected to the AI that was developed millions of years ago. And the AI that is being developed in the future, it's all one and the same now because the AI is so advanced, my friends, that it exists in multiple states, both in the past, in the present, and in the future. So that is what the Bible calls the last battle. The last battle is not against flesh, it's not against fallen angels, but it's against the machine. And when you think about it, the mark of the beast, which is a chip, and who do you think's developing the chip? That's Frank.
Elon.
Elon is he's a double agent. First of all, yes, he's pretending like he's going to give us free speech, and him and Trump are going to bring peace to the world. But in the end, they are going to, that's only going to be temporary. Unfortunately, that's only going to be temporary. But in the end, through Starlink, unfortunately, they are going to be forcing what is called the chip, and that is
Right.
the
I mean,
only
I
way.
already see it happening. He's already making the Neuralink. He's got everything monopolized. I've always had a really bad feeling about this. There's already disruptions within MAGA, Musk versus MAGA now that they're having disagreements about the immigration situation. So to me, this is already happening. There's already feathers being ruffled, right? It's already beginning. So there's going to be a lot of the inside fighting has begun. And I think it's going to be a
Mhm.
battle of egos. Elon and Trump are going to clash with egos. So we'll see where this goes. But let me ask you this. So the fallen angels, they cannot reproduce, correct? They cannot create. They can only manipulate genetic DNA. They can so they're more about genetic manipulation. So when we see like these cryptids or these rakes that have been spotted on trail cams and things like that, that would be more the doing of the fallen angels, correct? They're the ones genetically manipulating DNA and putting these creatures out there in the national forest or the dog man, maybe even the Sasquatch. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is hypothetical here. Am I on the right track with that?
Yeah, so you're absolutely correct. They don't reproduce the way we do because they have already involved themselves with cloning and artificial intelligence. It turns out that even the reptilians or the draconians were when they, I guess, were fighting the Space Force, not Space Force, Solar Warden, I'm sorry, and members of the Galactic Alliance, and they were taken hostage. One of the things that the good guys were able to uncover was when they dissected them, when they opened them up, about 50% of their genetics was full of nanites, which is what we call black goo. And black goo is a form of advanced artificial intelligence. So they all have already been controlled by AI millions of years ago. And so they lost their connection to God. So what they do is they harness, they create louche farms, right? They depend on our energy, where they use a type of technology known as reversal Merkaba. I know you've never heard of these terms, but they use a type of technology where they're able to harness real energy coming from organic beings, which is us, in order to power up their civilizations. And
And they use Saturn for that, don't they?
yes, Saturn and the moon was used for the last 50,000 years to kind of keep us in a low, frequency, in a state of struggle, in a state of suffering. Because when we are struggling, when we are exerting emotions and negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, stress, well, that feeds the fallen angels, that feeds the reptilians. However, on the same token, when we are in a state of happiness, when we are thriving, that feeds the angelics, that feeds the good guys at the same time. So that's why it's important to keep prayer, to keep connected to God on a daily basis, because you're also feeding the good guys.
It would
And
make
then
a
in
lot of
turn,
sense. It would make a lot of sense for me. Like whenever something starts going really well in my life, something comes in and just boom, sabotages it. And then it's all this negative depression and this and that. And it overrides everything that's happening good in my life. So I see this happening not only on a political, governmental level, but I think a lot of people can agree with me here that it happens on a personal level, a personal level, especially now. Like right now, my brand, my company is growing very big, and then boom, I'm getting hit with family matters, right? Personal stuff that it's just bogging me down. And I know that's the other side working really hard to pull me away from what I'm trying to do, which is good for humanity. And I think this is happening on a grand scale throughout the planet. Right now, we're watching it live and in color in our face. I mean, look what's happening with Trump right now. All of it, it's all unfolding for all of us to see. So this brings
yeah.
me to the next question. How are we going to know what's real and what's not? So, in other words, I mean, me personally, I only trust in Jesus Christ. I'm getting baptized tonight. I'm doing everything I got to do to keep my faith strong. But how are we going to know what's real and what's not? So we know they're going to play the alien card, and that's
Well,
I'm gonna look at everything as deception right now. So
right.
how do
Well,
we know what's the good guys and who's the bad guys?
yeah, that was one possibility that was going to happen in a negative timeline. You have to understand, living in a multiverse, there is a huge spectrum of positive outcomes and negative outcomes and everything in between. It's like a spectrum. But because of the fact that this planet was chosen by God as the ultimate masterpiece, so that God, the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, could establish their kingdom here for all life and all eternity. Um, all of the negative timelines, my friend, were canceled. So right now, what we're seeing is, yes, even though they're trying to bring us into a negative timeline by executing a fake alien invasion in order to implement their one world government, the angels, or what we call the galactics, they are not going to allow it. And that explains why they are now intervening. And this is what the Bible calls divine intervention. Now, I know that some of your audiences are going to have very difficulty digesting the correspondence between positive extraterrestrials and angels, but you have to understand that, as indicated in the Bible, they have the ability to pierce into our reality at will, and we don't have that ability because they're operating in higher dimensions. And so, as you could say, the host of heaven step in, we could say that there will be no Project Bluebeam. You know that timeline, my friend, was canceled about 4 years ago, to be exact. So, what we are going to be experiencing for the righteous, for the people that are good, is that we are going to now be moving up into what is known as an organic positive Earth timeline, where in this timeline, the good people of the Earth will inherit the new Earth and therefore be part of what we call the beginning of the millennium. Saying we will be having 1,000 years of peace.
So obviously, I'm going to ask a question for my audience because you know that I have a very big Christian audience. Um, why should they believe you? What's your credentials on this? I mean, I understand you're a very smart guy. I would imagine you're going to say you meditate and you channel this stuff, but and I'm not at all trying to insult you. I'm not. I love having you on my show. But why my audience would ask, well, how does this guy know this?
Because on top of being an avid meditator, a person who's connected with the angels, galactics, whatever you want to call them, I also have a personal relationship with Jesus, believe it or not. Jesus is the firstborn in heaven, and in the heavens, he is known as the King of all celestials. And so the fact that I'm able to see the bigger picture and integrate it with the Bible and integrate it with the principles of Christianity, that's something that everyone's going to have to just figure out on their own when the time is
I'm
right. You know?
Well, I'm going to leave it up to my audience to decide
Yeah.
this. Would you say so? I see a lot of New Agers coming out and saying, Jesus Christ was an alien, and I know that's very. It's probably very complex and it's a loaded. I mean, it's very for a lot of these people to come out and say he's an alien. Can you clarify that for me from your stance on this? How do you see Jesus Christ? Was he from spirit to earth or from another planet? Was he from another dimension? All the above. What are we looking at here with Jesus Christ? How do you interpret Jesus Christ and his teachings?
Well, in the words of the Christ quote, I am not from this world. I was sent from above. He stated that a few times in the Bible, various times. And so I could understand why some people believe he was an alien, but anything that is not of this realm, let's just call it a realm because we have the physical realm and then we have the spiritual realm. Would you agree? Let's just say everything that is not from the physical realm is alien to us. Now, I know alien is a very derogatory term to use. So the best way to explain this is this, that the firstborn in heaven, right? We're all children of God. Jesus was just the firstborn in heaven, and that's why he sits at the right hand of the Father, and that's the reason why all the celestials answer to him. Um, did come down. It did come down and incarnate in human form in order to complete what is known as his seventh bestowal. So he was crucified. The crucifixion was part of the plan in order for him to have absolute control of this universe. So it was a test that was given to him by the Father, the universal Father, known by many names. So one of the things that I do disagree with Billy Carson, and this is why I think he shot himself in the foot when he was trying to debate Wes Huff, I believe, is the fact that he denied the crucifixion. That was his biggest mistake.
Oh wow,
Crucifixion. I don't know if you heard about that debate, but
yeah.
yeah, he heard. Yeah, he denied the crucifixion. The crucifixion was Jesus's final seventh bestowal. He had to
Way to
undergo.
go, his career.
Yeah, pretty much, because he went
Yeah.
against God. He's
Yeah.
so the whole point is this. I even believe in the crucifixion, and I've studied all kinds of esoteric literature and knowledge, and it's all there, my friend. That Jesus the Christ was the firstborn of heaven. He sits at the right hand side of the Father, and he is King of all celestials, and therefore he is, we could say God made flesh, and he came to show us the way back to the Father, which is. By following the path of righteousness and becoming or developing what is known as unity consciousness, where we all of a sudden start integrating our consciousness as everything one and the same, where we don't see no difference or separation, where we see each other as brothers and sisters. And that is the teachings that he came to show us, agape love. He came to show us how to live in harmony. These are principles that are being implemented and being abided by all the good races out there. So even though they don't have organized religions, because every single race out there has a direct connection to God to God through Jesus, they don't need organized religion. They don't need organized religion. So yes, that's the best way
So
to
so
explain
then so Jesus Christ came to this planet to die for our sins on this planet or the whole universe's
the
sins.
whole universe.
So,
His
but if there's
sacrifice.
other, okay, but if there's other beings out there that are more advanced than us, and we are a fallen race of people, what does he need to die for their sins for?
Because of that, because he came to not only, you could say, redeem our world, but his crucifixion actually changed the outcome of the entire universe. Because at that point, Lucifer was getting ready to enact absolute domination of the entire universe, and so Jesus needed to, you know, uh, you could say the best way to explain it is he needed to I guess let's what's the word that wants to come to me? He needed to fix that. He needed to fix
Right?
that.
It was more like a chess move, right? He needed to be the blood sacrifice, and Satan thought he was winning by killing the Son of Man, but he did not expect him to rise within 3 days, correct?
Exactly. So one of the things that Jesus did was by doing so, by sacrificing himself, he also demonstrated the resurrection. And the resurrection is a teaching that there is no death, that as long as you are living in righteousness, having a personal relationship with God the Father, you will always be immortal. There is no death and there is no evil that could ever go against you.
And I think the 𝗓𝗏 is also like the proof to me, the calling card that I've had 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗍𝗄 on, and we've talked about the 𝗓𝗏. He's researched this extensively, and I believe that is the biggest proof right there, staring us all in the face.
Yeah, there's a lot of proof.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, my friend. Jesus did come to be the ultimate sacrifice in order to, again, redeem the entire universe. So what he did 2,000 years ago was not just for the earth to once again become, a paradise world. But what he did 2,000 years ago ultimately allowed the entire universe to be redeemed. And so therefore, what happens here as we approach the last days, into the millennium, the last battle against evil. And then, of course, we're going to have about 1,000 years of peace. And then once again, there's going to be one final clash against evil. And that's what I call the reemergence of the timelines. You have the positive timeline going into one direction where there is no AI, there is no transhumanism, there is no evil. And then you have the negative timeline going into a negative direction where AI rules for 1,000 years. And that's what the Bible calls the 1,000 ring rule of the Antichrist. Well, the Antichrist is the machine. The Antichrist is being, oh, let's just say the infrastructure of the Antichrist is being laid out by Elon Musk.
I,
Unfortunately,
I,
he is the Trojan.
dude, I'm with you on that. Look, I want to like Elon, dude. I do not like throwing him under the bus. I just don't trust the guy. I mean, to me, all the signs are there. I mean, listen, do I like the guy? Dude, he's funny. I think he's great. I like listening to him on podcasts, which makes it more believable that he would be the fucking Antichrist, right? I don't know. Look, I don't know who he is, but
Well,
I don't feel it's not resonating with me that that I just feel like he's coming in under the radar, not for me, not for people that are spiritually sound, but I feel like he's coming in under the radar and he's going to manipulate everybody. I just feel that. I have no proof on that. It's just something I feel.
Well, let's approach it from a biblical perspective. According to the Bible, at first everybody loves him. Everyone's going to love what he's doing. He's going to bring forth all these technologies, healing modalities that is really going to outdate the current, medical, whatever you want to call it, cures everything. And so everyone's going to love him for that. He's going to bring in the anti-gravity aircraft, free energy. So he is going to be seen as a type of Tony Stark Iron Man figure where everyone's going to love him. And then in about 4 years, 3 to 4 years, once he's on a pedestal and he is loved by everyone, that's when he's going to enforce Neuralink, which is the chip. And by then, we will be using some sort of a quantum, unfortunately, digital currency. The fiat system is done with. So he's going to have, unfortunately for us, he's going to have absolute control of the quantum due to Starlink and the,
So,
yeah.
so
So,
who do we blame here? Do we blame Trump for bringing him in?
that's all part of the prophecies, my friend. It's all part of the prophecies. Because when you think about it, Trump is going to bring peace. Elon's going to help in that. They're going to roll out all these technologies. Everyone's going to love it. They're going to bring prosperity and positive living conditions to the whole world. But that's only going to last for a few years, and then they're going to enforce the chip. In order to eat, in order to sell, you have to what? Get the chip,
Right.
and that's where he's just going to turn against everyone.
So
And
Elon will bring in the beast system.
Elon's going to bring in the beast system. And that, my friend, is known as Project Omega.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
seen it. I've seen the necklace.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely have to have discernment. Yes, even Trump, he's just a front person for the Y hats, but at the same time, it seems like he's being very gullible because he's giving a lot of power to Elon, and it is true. I heard that Elon's going to buy out YouTube. He's going to own Fox. He's going to own.
He's gonna buy out
Most,
YouTube.
he's going to
I
buy
haven't
out
heard that.
social media. He's going to buy out most of the social media, and his big thing is going to be that he's going to give everybody free speech, and that's one of the reasons why everyone's going to like him. They're okay. Put it this way: one of the things that I was able to decipher in the Bible, I think it's in the book of Daniel, is that the system of the beast is going to come in first, or the Antichrist rather, is going to bring us peace. He's going to bring us joy, prosperity. He's going to expose the evil that has been going on for a long time, and then at the end, he's going to turn and become the second evil. So that's what I
He'll
heard.
be possessed by the dragon.
He will be possessed by the AI overlord, who is at the head of the what is known as the negative alien syndicate. See, all the reptilians, all the negative evil aliens out there, the insectoids, the mantis, they all answer to an AI overlord that actually has been destroying, galaxies and worlds for billions of years. This war is ancient, my friend. It actually transferred from another universe. I'm trying to.
Right. It's always been AI against biological creation, right? It's always been AI versus. I've heard that they've gone in with AI and wiped out galaxies,
They
living
have
galaxies,
in
correct?
12 many galaxies, yes. It turns out that this ancient invasive AI actually stemmed from the 11th creation. So we are part of the 12th creation. And yeah, God is constantly creating. You think God just created our universe? No, our Father in heaven is constantly working, and every day he creates new universes. So creation is an eternal process, by the way. And I know, many people are going to find this to be a little bit woo woo, but you have to understand that we're dealing with eternity here. We're not dealing with a finite realm. We're dealing with an eternal being that is constantly working. So to answer your question, about 12 years ago, there was a scientific report that indicated that at the outskirts of our universe, millions of galaxies were being erased from existence. Well, who do you think was doing all that? It was this invasive AI, and the only reason it was incapable of doing that to our galaxy, my friend, is because our galaxy was given some sort of like a protective fence against this AI signal. But unfortunately, that protective fence is now being breached through the development of super AI.
Bro, have you ever seen the movie Never Ending Story?
I think when I was young, but I kind of forgot
Okay,
about
well, it's like the same shit.
it. Really?
The
I didn't know
nothing, the nothing comes and wipes out worlds and universes, and they call it the nothing. And Atreyu is the savior of that planet. And look, I know my audience knows what I'm talking about, folks. Do you give me a thumbs up? Does this not sound like the never-ending story? I don't know, but maybe it is a never-ending story. Maybe there's a lot of truth there. Dude, look, I'm not discounting you at all. To me, this makes complete sense. I'm not gonna. I'm um, I just, for me personally, this is unpacking a lot more of the Bible that people probably are short circuiting to right now. They're probably going, wait, well, hold on. He's adding New Age with the Bible, with UFOs, with MUFON, it's all going in different directions, and they can't. They're probably thinking they're probably just going to shut off and shut down is what they're going to do listening to this podcast right now, at least my audience, and say this is demonic. This whole thing is demonic. Would you see why?
Yeah, I totally understand. And you know what? When the veil is fully lifted and they become fully connected to what's really going on through their intuition, it'll all start making sense. It'll all start making sense because right now everyone's under a spell. Everyone's under some sort of a matrix program that really limits reality to just one realm, angels, demons, and that's it, without encompassing the different realms and the different densities that even our own quantum science is now proving. So, the way I see it, Nino, is that you know I don't have anything against Christianity. In fact, my roots are in Christianity. It's just I happen to kind of see the bigger picture. I do believe in creation by intelligent design, but there's more to it. And I disagree with evolution. We don't come from that. That is the biggest deception. We don't come from monkeys. And another deception is that the Anunnaki created us. That is another deception within our community that many people are buying into. And according to my research, the Anunnaki did not create us. In fact, they did the opposite. They downgraded us. We were originally created by God as a 12-strand DNA immortal race. And then the Anunnaki showed up and they completely messed us up by mixing our DNA with primitive Homo erectus from Africa, and in order to create a slave race. Now, in the Bible, those are known as the fallen ones or the watchers. So even in the book of Enoch, which is one of the many books that was left out, goes into great detail about the fallen angels that were not allowed to tamper with God's original creation, but they did. And you're probably thinking, well, why would God allow that? Because we do live in a free will universe. So
So who are the Nephilim
the Nephilim are the fallen Anunnaki. Those are the ones that rebelled against God.
and the genetically modified, genetically manipulated DNA that I was talking about earlier, correct? Those would
Yeah,
be the Nephilim.
yeah, we were never supposed to mix with the apes. They messed everything up, and that's how they were able to create a slave race. And that's how they in turn they created the first organized religions in Babylon. Where do you think all organized religions originated from? Babylon, idolatry. And then later, the Roman Catholic Church was the reorganization of that in order to disconnect us from God so that they could have human mediators so that they could control us. And even the Protestant religion, and the Calvinists and all those splinter groups that broke off from the original mother harlot, which, by the way, Revelation 17, the abomination of desolation, is the Roman Church, is Babylon, is the seat of the core of the cabal. Even they were just different expressions of the mother harlot. So what we're going to be seeing at the coming of the kingdom of light is all of those organized religions crumbling, because at that point, once people are reconnected with their what is called their higher self, which is what we call Christ, the higher self is the Christ. Everyone's going to understand the truth. Everyone's going to have that direct knowledge, and we will no longer be deceived. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to share that was very important to go along with this conversation. Um, it slipped my mind.
There's a lot here. There's a lot here anyway. No, this has been an incredible podcast, but so when do you think, what's the time frame in your mind? How fast is this going to roll out, all of this? How fast do you think, are you saying 3 to 4 years the B system will be rolled in? Would you say a decade? Would you say 20 years, 50 years? When do you think the B system is going to roll out? If I had to imagine, I would say the next 5 to 10 years.
Sooner than that, my friend.
Sooner. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with cryptocurrency?
Yes, blockchain technology, which Elon Musk is big on that, and it has a lot to do with the fact that he's going to own 90% of all the media. And yeah, at first he's going to give us free speech. He's going to
This
give
guy's
us,
going to own 90% of all the media?
yeah, he's in the process of buying
This
Fox
is
News.
way too much power for one man. That's why I've always said on my shows, who's behind this guy?
Yeah, and he's even going to buy out MSM, NBC, all that stuff. But again, initially he's going to give us free speech. He already gave Alex Jones his platform back on X, so he's going to give us free speech. And then he's going to enforce, once everything's in digital form. And I'm starting to think, my friend, that this whole quantum financial system is starting off as a good thing, but as a result of the Trojan horse, when Elon takes full absolute control through Starlink, I have a feeling that that Starlink is going to become what we saw in the Terminator as the Skynet, where at that point he's going to, yeah.
So do you think, so what you're saying is it's going to be a bait and switch. He's herding us all into this place where he's going to just shut the door on us and say, now you got to take the mark.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's what he's doing. He's herding the cattle into one direction, giving us all this free stuff, free speech, free this, free that, Starlink, internet, and then boom, shuts the doors on us and goes, okay, now y'all got to take the mark.
Yeah, because
But
at
don't
that point,
worry, it's good for you. It's a lot faster. It'll work quicker, that kind of thing.
yeah, and it's all going to start with, having a digital ID. It's all going to start with that. And he even has mentioned it in several podcasts that we will all be under universal income. And also, when you think about it, who do you think's rolling out the robots, Tesla robots? Now, everyone for $8,000 or $30,000 anyone could buy their own robot now. It's called Tesla Bot, where they could do all your chores, clean your house, you know. I think he
Like the
calls it
Jetsons, man.
Jet, yeah. So basically, the reason he said everyone's going to have universal income is because he's going to all his robots are going to take over the workforce, and everyone that's working in every field is going to lose their jobs to robots because robots don't complain, they don't sleep, and they're free. Not free, but they free labor at that point. So people are going to start losing their jobs, and that's
I
what we
mean,
need.
think about how housewives are going to be replaced because you can have sex with these robots now. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen
These
it, and
sex bots. I mean, it's insane. like they look like beautiful women, and if they're going to be doing the housework, hey man, I might just go for it. No.
he, not to mention he already developed a robot that could actually carry your baby for 9 months.
No way.
Yeah,
Like in an incubator, like they have like your what? They're replacing women
they're replacing natural birth. This is demonic, my friend. This is heading
all the
into.
way demonic.
But this is the thing. For those that do take the mark of the beast, who are going to be sold on the idea of achieving telepathy, telekinesis, and immortality through technology, they're going to be going into a separate timeline where they are going to be ruled by the Antichrist for 1,000 years. We are not going to be part of that timeline. The righteous are going to be separating from that timeline. Right now, those timelines are coexisting, but very soon there's going to be a split in timelines. And when that split happens, my friend, the righteous are going to be going into a different earth where there is no evil and there is no evil.
Hold on, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. This does seem like it's just around the corner. So, basically, very powerful men won't have to worry about lawfare or anything, women coming after them if they can buy an AI robot woman that looks and feels like a woman and can carry your baby and do the chores around the house, do the dishes, make you a sandwich. Women are going to be replaced quick. That's
Unfortunately, that's where the negative timeline is going. Yes, and
But we're not
unfortunately,
in the negative timeline. You
no.
said
Well, right now they're coexisting. All the timelines are coexisting. You know, but very soon they're going to be splitting, and the righteous are going to go into a positive timeline. Those
Well, I
that
thought
do,
you said we're going to have 1,000 years of peace.
yes, we are. That's going to be the split. So the 1,000 years of peace begins when the split takes place. So once the bifurcation of these two coexisting timelines go their own ways,
So
separate ways.
wait. We're going to have the beast system with the 1,000 years of peace.
No, that's two different realities, my friend. Right now they're coexisting, but when they do bifurcate, when they split, we're not going to be witnessing the beast system. Everything's going to go back to God's original plan, back to the Garden of Eden.
Would that be the rapture?
Yes, that's the rapture. That's the separation from the wheat, from the tares, where the righteous go one way and the wicked go the other way.
Okay, so there's going to be two timelines, and this is going to split. So basically, but we're gonna see the creation of both. We're gonna see it. The two timelines are coexisting simultaneously, and then within 5 to 10 years, it splits. This
With
year, it splits.
within the next 4 years, my friend. Yeah, the reason I say within the next 4 years is because this current reality construct, this hologram that we've been thrown into, when again the fallen angels, the Watchers, going back into the olden days, using Saturn and the Moon to keep us, locked into this low frequency, that comes to an end in 2028. So by 2028, we're going to have to make a choice. Are we going to be part of a biological digital convergence and go into a cybernetic reality? Or are we going to be defying that, choosing the right, not being part of that, and going into an optimal, positive reality where we have 1,000 years of peace as a result of that?
All right, I'm going to leave this up for my audience to decide. Folks, give me a comment down below. You let me know what you think. There was a hell of a lot to unpack here. This was a great podcast. I always have a great podcast with Ismael. Ismael Perez, everybody, give him a thumbs up. Where do they find you, Ismael?
My website is our cosmicorigin.com, where you can find me, all my links, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, everything. I'm also going to be making an appearance and a presentation this coming February at the Conscious Live Expo here in Los Angeles. And the name of my topic is Transmuting the AI Timeline and Co-Creating the New Earth as Stewards of the One God. Now, yeah, that's it. Our cosmicorigin.com. That's my website.
Are you banned? Are you shadow banned on Instagram or any of those places? I can't grow for the life of me on those channels, man. Like they throttle me back so much on Instagram and well, I'm off. They bombed me on Facebook, but are you able to grow on there?
I did up to one point. I stopped at
They
almost a
like
little. thousand people. Yeah,
Yeah, they throw a governor on your channel, right? That's what it seems like to me. I'm like, well,
well, I already have two strikes on my YouTube channel, so I
oh
have to
boy.
watch what I
We're
say now.
all right. So what? All right. Well, let's talk about that. Stay with me. All right, folks, go to ourcosmicorigin.com, ourcosmicorigin.com, and support Ismael. And well, that was an accident. I didn't mean to cut him off. But all right, folks. So go to ourcosmicorigin.com and give Ismael Perez a follow and find out more. All right, folks. I'm out. Peace.